Coming up on episode number 34 of Talking Sports with Miles and Andrew. Miles is actually back, guys. He's back. Let's go. We also got to talk about the first round of college football playoffs. We have an MLB offseason recap and some more thoughts on the MLB salary cap. We also have an NFL Week 15 and 16 recap, and we'll take a look at their playoff bracket. And we'll end the episode with the return of our first guest ever on the show.
All right, guess who's back? It's me, Miles Shield, sitting right next to my co-host here.
I'm Andrew Volkman, everybody. Welcome back.
All right, thank you. It's great to be back. Sorry I've been gone. I've had some personal and health things going on, but I'm back. It's episode 34. I'm super hyped. We're talking about a ton of great stuff, like Andrew said in the intro here, and we have the return of our first ever guest, Scottie Tohottie. So excited for him to be back on the show. He's our Packers insider.
Absolutely.
He's going to have some great thoughts on the green and gold.
Absolutely. So I can't wait to get him back on the show. It's been a while since we've had him on here.
It has.
And we've talked to him a little bit outside of the show, but it doesn't feel the same, without him. Definitely.
Yeah, so we got to get him going.
All right, so getting the episode started, we have the first round of the college football playoffs. First matchup was between James Madison and number 5 Oregon, and safe to say Oregon handled business, beating James Madison 51-34. James Madison, though, 34 points, very impressive. I will say that. Oregon will be moving on to face Texas A&M in the Capital One Orange Bowl, I believe, coming up this weekend. Or not this weekend. It'll be around the time of New Year's, I should say. Next up, we have number 9 Alabama taking on number 8 Oklahoma. And Alabama got the quote-unquote upset over Oklahoma with a 34-24 victory. They'll be moving on to take on number 1 Indiana in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. So actually, all these are on New Year's Day. So, moving on, we have Tulane versus Ole Miss, and Ole Miss, safe to say, even though without their head coach, what was his head coach's name again?
Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin. Sorry. See, I didn't recognize him because he left Ole Miss. That's why I forgot his name. I'm pretty sure every Ole Miss fan will never forgive Lane Kiffin. Pretty much for leaving Ole Miss behind. So 41-10 victory for Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin as the head coach. They'll be moving on to take on Georgia in the All-State Sugar Bowl. And finally, we have the University of Miami led by Carson Beck taking on Texas A&M. And they also got an upset in a very ugly game. Let's just say that. It was a 10-3 victory.
Yeah.
And they will be moving on. Miami will be taking on Ohio State in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Now, as for who we think could win these quarterfinal games to move on to the semifinals, I'm pretty sure it's up for grabs. You have no idea how these games can turn out. So for Oregon and Texas Tech, I mean, it's pretty much a shoot up here. I don't know who's going to get this.
Yeah, I think they're very equally good. But give me Oregon with Dante Moore getting the what would be an upset, even though it's 5-4. Give me Oregon.
Okay. I probably am going to lean that way too, if I'm being honest. I do like Dante Moore, but I will never rule out Texas Tech, especially in this day and age. This season, they've been very, very good. Number 9, Alabama versus Indiana. I mean, I think the clear and obvious pick has got to be Fernando Mendoza in Indiana right now. Number 1 in the country for a reason. So
I would completely agree. You got the Heisman winner. You're number 1 in the country. You got the best college football coach maybe ever. And that Indiana group is going all the way.
Definitely. For the All-State Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss versus Georgia. I want to hear what you say first because I feel like I might be a little bit different. I might have a different take than you. So Ole Miss versus Georgia, 6 versus 3.
I think Ole Miss could get the upset here against Georgia. I don't know if Gunnar Stockton has it in him to beat Ole Miss. Maybe he will. Maybe I'll be proven wrong because that Georgia defense is so good. And without Lane Kiffin, I don't know if Ole Miss will be the same, but I'm not going to doubt Ole Miss here.
Okay, well, I was going to kind of go against what you have, just in general, because I feel like I really don't know. Like, about Ole Miss, again, you bring up some valid points, so that's why I'm probably going to go with Georgia for the All-State Sugar Bowl. Plus, the reputation of Georgia is just a little bit better, perhaps, I would say.
I would agree.
And finally, Miami versus Ohio State in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. I mean, this one, it should be pretty easy. I think it's Ohio State. It's got to be Ohio State here.
I think that my brain is telling me Ohio State. I, for some reason, really want Carson Beck in Miami to do a little Cinderella story here, make a little run. And that's why I'm going to go with Miami here with the upset against Ohio State.
Let's point out that Ohio State gave up a good amount of points to Michigan this year and lost.
Yeah.
So I think that's no. I don't think Ohio State actually lost.
No, they didn't. But
man,
I understand what you're saying.
Ohio State's defense, it's not invincible. Let's just say that. And Carson Beck, maybe 10 points against Texas A&M, but maybe he has a bounce back game. You never know.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. You know what would have been really poetic if Miami got to play Georgia, Carson Beck versus his old school.
That would be interesting.
That would be really poetic. I would have loved to see that.
That would have been awesome.
I would have really loved to see that. So the winner of Ole Miss and Georgia and Miami and Ohio State will go to play in the Fiesta Bowl, and then the winner of Oregon and Texas Tech will play the winner of Bama and Indiana in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. I don't know why I'm saying the sponsor name, but yeah, the Peach Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl. Those winners will be those games will be decided this week in the quarterfinals.
All right, who are you thinking the champion's gonna be?
Ooh, I think I don't want to be boring. I'm not going to be boring. I think that Georgia's going to get it done. I think Georgia with. Wow. I'm going to lean on their experience a little bit here.
That's respectable.
The pedigree that Georgia has as a program, I think will be enough to get them here. Now that may be a little short-sighted, but
yeah,
I like their chances. I mean, again, Ohio State definitely not invincible this year. Miami, if they do beat Ohio State, I don't think they're going to do much. Ole Miss, they don't have Lane Kiffin. Their roster was kind of carried by Lane Kiffin. Let's just be honest with ourselves there. And then Bama and Indiana. I mean, Bama is not what it once was. Mm-hmm. Indiana, I love the story, but I don't think that's good. I don't think it's this year. I think it's maybe next year. I think next year is their year, maybe. But I'm 100% rooting for Indiana. And Oregon and Texas Tech. Yeah, I just don't trust the pedigree of those programs. I mean, Oregon kind of had a resurgence this year, same with Texas Tech. Georgia's been very consistent these past couple years, so I'm going to lean on Georgia and their experience.
I like that. I would probably go either Indiana or Oregon there.
Okay.
But I think Indiana can get it done, and Mendoza can continue.
Okay, and once again, I'm rooting for Indiana in the college football playoffs. Yeah. I think I had some family that went there a long time ago.
Staying with the football topic, let's go to the NFL now. We have not had a Week 15 recap, so we're going to do a little speed run here, go through it. All right, First game, Falcons-Buccaneers. Falcons kind of upset the Buccaneers here, 29-28. Andrew, what do you think about that?
Well, this is huge because the Buccaneers, this is taking them further back into the clutches of the Panthers for that division title, and we would see that later on in Week 16. We'll get to that in a minute, but this was a huge game for the Buccaneers because they lost this one.
Big game. Ravens, Bengals. Ravens beat the Bengals 24-0. Ugly game from Cincinnati.
Yeah, Joe Burrow, I think, threw at least one interception in this game. So after that really good first week back for Joe Burrow against the Ravens in Thanksgiving, definitely not a good week for Joe Burrow.
I would agree. Raiders, this was a very predictable game. Raiders 0, Eagles 31, and Eagles get the easy win.
Yeah, just very predictable.
Cardinals, Texans. Cardinals lose this game 20-40 as the Texans continue to steamroll their teams.
Yeah, actually had a pretty good offensive game, and their defense is still very, very good. Texans are dangerous.
Yeah, Texans are the team to beat right now. Cardinals, Jacoby Brissett's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Anyways, Chargers, Chiefs. Chargers get the win here, 16-13, and that's not good for the Chiefs. Yeah. As we know, they get eliminated.
Yeah, this game eliminated the Chiefs from playoff contention, knocked Patrick Mahomes out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. Terrible game for the Chiefs fans.
Not good. Bills, Patriots. The Bills sneak in the win 35-31 as the Patriots give up the huge 3-touchdown lead to the Bills.
Yeah, definitely. Bills still dangerous, even though their season hasn't gone exactly to plan. Keep an eye out for the Bills.
Jets, Jaguars, 20-48. Trevor Lawrence had 5 touchdowns as he balled out with this Jags team. The Jets just looking hideous.
Yeah, this was a good game for the Jags, and they just extended Jacoby Myers to be their number 1 wide receiver. I'll be interested to see what that wide receiver room kind of looks like going forward. But they got some talent now in that wide receiver room for many years to come.
Commanders, Giants. Commanders 29, Giants 21. Disappointing to see. We saw was Dart back for this game. He played good football. He had 2 touchdowns and only an interception. It's just this team is so awful.
That defense definitely let them down. That's why the Giants fired their defensive coordinator, I think this week, actually, after week 15.
I would agree. Browns, Bears. Browns only get 3, Bears 31 as they easily take care of Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Panthers, Saints. Now this one's interesting. The Buccaneers lost. Well, guess what? So did the Panthers. They lost 17-20 to the Saints.
Yeah. Tyler Shuck might be the guy in New Orleans. I'm going to say it right now. I think Tyler Shuck is the guy in New Orleans. I don't think they need to go out and get a quarterback in the draft. Tyler Shuck is their guy.
That is a very interesting take there. Lions, Rams, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford. They were switched a few years ago. Rams got the win here, 34-41. High scoring game there.
Definitely.
Colts, Seahawks, 16-18. What a crazy game that was.
First game back for Phil Rivers and almost got the dub, but came up just short on a game-winning field goal from the Seahawks. Very close game, but a very good game from Phil Rivers and all teams in general.
I would agree. Packers, Broncos. This was a heartbreaking one to watch as a Packers fan. 26-34 as the Broncos get it done, and Micah Parsons goes down with that injury.
Definitely, this is going to be a huge setback for the Packers, as we saw in Week 16 against the Bears. But bad game to lose, and the Packers need every win they can get.
Yeah. Titans, 49ers now. Titans 24, 49ers 37. Pretty predictable. Actually, the Titans offense had some life here, so we'll give it to them as they don't got much good for them right now.
Definitely not.
Vikings, Cowboys. Vikings get the win over the Cowboys 34-26 as J.J. McCarthy balls out.
Definitely, and this actually knocked the Cowboys out of playoff contention. Eagles clinch their division. Cowboys are out for the rest of the season.
Dolphins, Steelers. Dolphins 15, Steelers 28. As the Steelers easily take care of these Dolphins, and Steelers are also kind of getting on a roll here.
Yeah, Steelers need every win they can get in a division that is not fully locked up yet.
Moving on to Week 16, we'll kind of talk a little bit more about this. Rams, Seahawks 37-38.
Wow. I mean, the Rams looked like they had this game won at one point in this game. They were up multiple scores. Seahawks came storming back with Sam Darnold and that entire offense.
I would just like to say, even though the Rams lost this game, here's some of the stats here. Matthew Stafford threw for 457 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Puka had 225 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they still couldn't get the win.
I think they were out without Devontae Adams for this game. I'm pretty sure he hurt his hamstring in Week 15, so
that's correct.
They had to rely on Puka Nacua for this week.
And, I mean, Puka has really shown that he is one of the best receivers in the league.
Possibly an MVP candidate at this point.
I would agree with that. Eagles, Commanders. Eagles easily take care of their division rival, the Commanders, 29-18, as this was a bit of a controversial game. A lot of fights going on. Mm-hmm. Eagles accused of running up the score, but all around, Eagles played pretty good football.
Mm-hmm.
Packers, Bears.
Ugh.
The Packers lose to the Bears 16-22, lose Jordan Love to a concussion. He's in concussion protocol. It was a nasty hit. He got hit 3 times in the same play. Malik Willis came in. He played very good football up until the end in that final fumbled snap that ended up being the dagger for Packers fans. Now Willis is also hurt. There's a lot of quarterback questions. We'll talk about that later. If Clayton Tune will get the start or Malik Willis or Jordan Love will be back. We will see. Chargers, Cowboys. Chargers get the win over the Cowboys 34-17 as the Cowboys cannot find that same magic they had in the beginning of the year.
Yep. Very interesting fight at the top of the AFC West between the Chargers and the Broncos. We'll see who comes out on top.
Vikings, Giants, 16-13. Vikings get the win. Jackson Dart had 37 yards as this was an ugly, ugly performance from the Giants. And this kind of really locks up them getting the number 1 overall pick.
Definitely. And I think J.J. McCarthy actually had a hairline fracture that he suffered in this game. So he's going to be out for Week 17, their Week 17 matchup. So Max Brosmer is going to get the start again for the Vikings.
Oh, I would hate to be a Vikings fan and hear that again because that was hideous.
I mean, when we say as Packers fans we have QB troubles with Love and Willis out, I mean...
That's a whole nother level.
Vikings have it way, way worse, everybody.
All right, moving on. Bengals, Dolphins. Bengals crushed the Dolphins 45-21. And to me, the Dolphins are making a case that they are one of the worst teams in the NFL. Quinn Ewers got his first start in this league. He threw 2 interceptions, but, 20 for 30, 260 yards, not an awful performance from Quinn Ewers.
That defense of the Dolphins, though, is not very good, though. Definitely not.
No, yeah, I didn't hate it, though, what I saw from Quinn Ewers. Like that he got to start there. All right, Buccaneers, Panthers. This was a game everyone was hoping was going to be huge, and it was. 20-23 as the Panthers get the win and take the lead in the division.
Miles, you called it in the beginning of the year. You said they were going to be a potential division contender, a playoff contender at the bare minimum. And we all laughed at you at the first couple weeks of the season, like halfway through week 6. We were like, what were you thinking, man? But now we see the Panthers have found life, and the Buccaneers, even though they started out so strong in the beginning of the year, injuries have caught up with them. And now they're in the clutches of the Panthers right now.
I would agree, and I love to see the Panthers on top here. Love to see what they're doing. All right, Jets, Saints. Jets really looking awful. 6-29 as the Saints steamroll. This is pretty much the first win they've gotten that they steamrolled someone. And Tyler Shuck looked great. Looked like a good game all around.
Again, I'm gonna say it again. Tyler Shuck, he's the guy in New Orleans. They don't need to go get a quarterback. Tyler Shuck is the guy for the Saints.
All right, next game, Bills-Browns, 23-20 as Bills squeak the win past the Browns. Ugly game, but Shedeur has not looked awful. I'll give him that.
No, maybe Shedeur and Tyler Shuck are both the guys for their respective teams right now. Shedeur for the Browns, Tyler Shuck for the Saints.
I could agree with that. All right, Chiefs-Titans. Chiefs get steamrolled by the Titans 9-26 as they lose Gardner Minshew to a torn ACL. And now you question what is in the future for them. Who do they grab off of somebody's practice squad and make their starter?
Definitely. And Titans, hey, 26 points for a team that's struggled offensively this whole year. Not bad. Not bad
at all. Jaguars, Broncos. Jags get the win 34-20. I love this. I'm really liking Liam Cohen and that Jags team, what he's doing with ETN and Trevor Lawrence. It's looked great. Jacoby Myers has looked great since coming there. He actually got that extension that we'll talk about later. But the Jags and Texans have heated up, and they're going to be teams to beat.
Yeah, big contention for the number 1 seed in the AFC.
All right, Falcons, Cardinals. Falcons get the win 26-19 over the Cardinals. And the Falcons are one of those teams where we just do not know if they're good or not.
Definitely not. Battle of the Birds. Battle of 2 bad birds.
All right, Raiders, Texans. Now, we just said the Texans are a team to beat. The Raiders almost beat them. 21-23 ended up being the score as the Texans squeaked the win past the Raiders.
Yeah.
Steelers, Lions. Steelers get the win 29-24 against the Lions, possibly knocking the Lions out of the playoffs. And here's what's got to happen for the Packers to make the playoffs right now. Packers need to win one, or
Lions
the Lions
just need to lose one. Yeah.
So if the Lions need to win out to make the playoffs at this point. All right, Patriots, Ravens. Patriots get the win 28-24 against the Ravens, and the Ravens just have looked awful.
Yeah, they haven't looked very good. Lamar Jackson hasn't been available 100% of the time. Lamar just went down with another injury. I don't know if he's going to be able to play in the Week 17 matchup against the Packers on Saturday night. Things are not looking good for Ravens fans right now.
No, not at all. 49ers, Colts, 48-27 as the Niners get it done against the Colts. Again, Phillip Rivers threw 2 touchdowns and an interception, and that interception wasn't really his fault. All around, Phillip Rivers has been pretty good for the Colts. I am hearing that don't expect Phillip Rivers to start for the rest of the year just because they're going to give Riley Leonard some time because they're done.
Yeah, definitely. That's such a sad story for the Colts fans. I got family that are Colts fans, and after the way their season started, man, that just really, really sucks, losing Daniel Jones. That's tough luck for the Colts fans.
All right, now for the moment we've all been waiting for. Scottie Tohottie is going to be on the show. Scottie, are you there?
Gentlemen, I am here.
Hey, Scottie, great to hear you.
What's happening?
Hey, nothing much. So, we heard you're with a bunch of insiders and knowledgeable NFL guys there. I heard Mr. Earl Gillespie's there with you.
Oh, wow.
Hey, boy.
Hey,
there we go.
All right.
We're
Well,
out here ice fishing on the frozen tundra.
oh, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. So let's talk about Packers, shall we? What is your opinion on the Packers right now?
Guys, we're in rough shape. When our number one defensive player is out for the year, our starting quarterback is in the concussion protocol, our second string quarterback has an injury, one of our safeties is hurt, our right offensive lineman is hurt. We are in rough shape. I'm not sure the Pack is going to make it this year.
Wow, that is I would say bold prediction, but at the same time, it's something that a lot of people have been predicting.
I think anybody out there can see that. Unfortunately, as Packers fans, we know, but we're holding on. We're holding on to hope right now. We're holding on to hope.
Yeah. So, Scottie, I got a question for you. So, do you think Jordan Love or Malik Willis will play, or do you think we're going to be calling up Clayton Tune from the practice squad to start at quarterback? Who do you think is going to be quarterback?
Well, my insiders have told me that Jordan Love should clear the concussion protocol by the end of this week, so we should be fine. Malik seems to be a little dinged up, but I think he's going to be the number 2. I don't think we need to pull up the practice squad quarterback for this week's game.
All right, that sounds good to us.
Okay.
And another question here: do you think the Packers get the win over the Ravens and make the playoffs?
I think it's going to be a close game. Both teams need this win. And I think it's really going to depend if Lamar Jackson comes back for this week's game or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree.
Definitely. Both teams have quarterbacks that are banged up, so that is a big question mark for both teams right now.
Yeah. All right. Andrew, do you have anything to say?
I really don't have anything to say about that. I mean, do you have any other observations from around the league? Maybe not just the Packers right now?
I do. I mean, this is Earl. I want to know which Matt LaFleur team is going to show up. If we get this flat, not up for the game, we're done for the season. We're already in the playoffs. We got to show up and beat the crap out of the Ravens and send a message to the rest of the division.
Yeah. Do you see the Packers doing that, Mr. Earl Gillespie?
I know they can. I know they can.
Yeah.
But I've seen this LaFleur team be hot and cold. You don't know which one's going to show up. This is where we find out what kind of coach and what kind of team we got.
Yeah, I would agree. And do you? This is a question for kind of both you guys here. Do you see this game and say we have an insane defensive performance? Do you see that being Jeff Hafley going off, our defensive coordinator going off and becoming a head coach? Like, is this his interview, this game, or is this just another game to make the playoffs?
I think so. I think I definitely think he's going to be a head coach next year. I don't know if it's going to be in the NFL or not. It might be at the college level, but I think he's been talked about enough where he's definitely going to get a chance to be the head coach somewhere.
All right, that sounds great. Do you guys have any final words
of wisdom, possibly?
Yeah. So let's talk about the Bears a little bit. Just to be clear, the Bears still.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. They tweaked out that game. They had no business beating the Packers on Saturday night, but they did. Luckily, I've never seen another team win so many games in the last second of the fourth quarter. If this team makes it, they already did make it to the playoffs. I predict they're going to be one and done, regardless of who they meet in the playoffs. They are not set up yet. Caleb Williams got an arm. He's got the legs, but I don't think he's quite ready for the big stage yet. So I'm predicting them a one and done, regardless of who they meet in the first round.
Wow. Huge prediction from Scottie Tohottie there, and we love it here in the studio. Well, it sounds good. We'll wrap it up here. Great talking to you guys. Love you guys. Having on you guys on the show. Tip up?
Gotta go. Tip up.
Whoa. Woo! We got tip up.
All right. Well, see you guys. Thanks for coming on the show.
All right. Thanks for having us. See you guys.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, special thanks and special shout out to both Scottie Tohottie and Mr. Earl Gillespie for coming on the show and taking time out of their busy lives to spend some time with us on the show. So once again, thank you to both of those guys for coming on here. But we got to move on now to QAQB featuring Tua Tagovailoa.
welcome to QAQB. All right, so today's QAQB will be about Tua Tagovailoa, the supposed franchise quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. Now, that's a question if he is still the franchise quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. Right now, he is leading the league in interceptions at 15. It has been awful for Tua and this Dolphins team. They have looked all around terrible and just all around not good at anything. And let's look back a little bit, right? When did this fall off happen for Tua? Or was it inevitable from the get-go? All right, so Tua, first of all, drafted 5th overall in the 2020 draft. He's from Iwa Beach, Hawaii, and they drafted him out of Alabama. He was drafted right after Joe Burrow. This is a very talented quarterback class here. And they took Tua, and his rookie season, it was okay. He had 1,000 yards, 1,814 yards, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Not insane, but I think that's kind of like Cam Ward numbers right there, what we expected out of that.
Definitely.
His second season, he took a little bit of an increase. He had 2,653 yards, 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And the next year, year 3, he really took the next step. He had 3,548 yards, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He cut down the interceptions and boosted up the touchdowns. We're looking great, right? Then you go to 2023, and he has 4,624 yards, 29 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. He's starting to look somewhat like a quarterback. Then 24, he has those concussions, right? Those are scary. Those are not good looking. And there was questions about if he would retire. And I genuinely thought that we would not see Tua Tagovailoa play again. But he had that huge contract. He had to play. It wasn't a question. And ever since then, his game has not been the same. His mechanics are worse. He's scared to get hit. He's throwing the ball in places that he never really would before that. And he's forced the Dolphins to make the decision to go with Quinn Ewers, the rookie out of Texas, who they took 7th round. And I think there's a lot of questions surrounding Tua. And are they going to draft a quarterback next year? Right? Is Tua done? Because if they cut Tua before June 1st, I believe, it was like $94 million in cap space hit. Right? So that's going to be a huge hit if they do that. Not only that, they also have to deal with Jalen Waddle's contract. They have to deal with Tyreek Hill's contract. They have a lot of contracts they have to deal with. Andrew, what do you got to talk about this?
Well, safe to say, I think Brian Flores might have been right. He might have been right. We know Brian Flores was not happy about the Dolphins drafting Tua. We know that Brian Flores was definitely not helping Tua develop in his first couple years in the league, and that's why he was fired by the Miami Dolphins and now is the defensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings. So maybe Brian Flores was right to openly rebuke the Dolphins' decision to draft Tua Tagovailoa in that first round. So that's really my big takeaway from that. And I think Tua, like if he didn't have those concussions, where would he be now? Possibly. But at this point, just with him being scared like that, him being kind of skittish, kind of reminds me of Matt LaFleur a little bit, and honestly in a little way. So I don't see Tua's days as an NFL player being very much longer. I don't see that time being very long. Like maybe another season at most, maybe 2. But if those seasons are going to be truly the last for Tua, they're going to be on the bench too.
Oh, wow, that's a bolder prediction than I was thinking. I was thinking, listen, I made this comment in the beginning of the year, the Dolphins are a sinking ship, and their captains, Tua and Mike McDaniel, are going down with the ship. And I don't think that they will be there at the end of within the next 2 years, they'll both be gone. But Tua will be before Mike, I'm thinking. Yeah. And to me, Tua, he needs a reset. I think on a new team, we could see a new Tua. I don't know if he will be good. I don't know if he's going to be bad. But I think we're going to see a new Tua. The question is, where will we see that and when will we see that, right? We may have to wait. We may see a Sam Darnold situation or a Baker Mayfield situation where they kind of bounce around the league and then they find their home. And I think that could be a Tua thing. I'm not sure. He's a completely different quarterback than Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. Those two are a little bit more alike, but this could be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying my prediction that Tua is probably going to be on the bench, kind of related to what Kirk Cousins' career has kind of become. He took a backseat to Michael Penix Jr. After Kirk disappointed in his first season with Atlanta, and now we're seeing him getting the starting role after Penix went down with injury. I could honestly see that being Tua's career. An expensive quarterback that is just not going to be good. He's not good. He's going to be forced into a backup role or into retirement. Like, I don't see a world where a team is going to be willing to hitch their wagon to a guy like Tua, who has an injury history, who has clearly has issues with getting hit and playing in the NFL, which you can't have if you're going to play in the NFL.
Right.
And he's also a lefty quarterback, and lefty quarterbacks are known to have some issues, especially when throwing. I mean, we saw those struggles early in the year, like wide receivers having to adjust to Tua being their quarterback because the ball tails a different way. So I could see all these reasons being things why Tua will not be a starting quarterback anymore. I for sure don't want him to start anymore. Just like, not only is it kind of an ugly show, but I also want the man to live. Because
Yeah.
those concussions, like, he's got, what, 4?
Yeah.
He's at least got 4. At this point, Tua's probably got to be done.
Yeah.
Like, if he doesn't get cut, then he's going to probably be staying on the Dolphins as a backup to a rookie or whoever, or a veteran, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when he does get cut, he'll be done.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see from Tua.
Yeah.
I think his days in the NFL are numbered, and I think he's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he seems like a good dude, but on the field, it's just over for Tua.
I think that will wrap us up with QA QB.
All right, now let's jump into the MLB a little bit, into the MLB offseason, because I've missed a bunch of stuff over the past week or so. So, Merrill Kelly re-signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks on a 2-year, $40 million deal. Remember, Arizona actually dealt Merrill Kelly to the Texas Rangers at the trade deadline, so Merrill Kelly will be heading back to Arizona to help anchor their rotation. Josh Bell signed with the Minnesota Twins. Adolis Garcia, who recently got non-tendered by the Texas Rangers, signed a new deal with the Philadelphia Phillies. It was a 1-year, $10 million deal. I believe it does have... No, it does not have an option. Excuse me, everybody. So we'll see how Adolis Garcia can do in Philadelphia. Maybe a change of scenery will help him out. The Atlanta Braves addressed their need for a shortstop, re-signing Ha-Seong Kim to a 1-year, $20 million contract. Bit of an overpay for a guy that I believe cannot hit in Ha-Seong Kim. Washington Nationals and the Red Sox made a straight swap for just a 1-for-1 swap between two pitchers. The Cubs re-signed Caleb Thibar, their left-handed reliever, to a 1-year contract, as well as signed Tyler Austin, a first baseman who's 34 years old, who absolutely raked overseas, I believe in Japan or Korea. I don't remember which league he played in, but for a long time, Tyler Austin was considered to be a struggling contact hitter, not a struggling contact hitter, a struggling power hitter who can't make contact. That's what I meant by struggling contact hitter. And he did play for the Brewers, actually. Fun fact, he played for the Brewers in 2019 for a short period of time. Had great power. He had absolute moonshots. Played on Team USA in the Olympics for baseball back in 2020, but fell out of the league because he just can't make contact. But after getting his average up in Japan or overseas, wherever he played, we'll see how he can do with the Chicago Cubs. The Baltimore Orioles made a pretty big trade. They acquired Shane Baz from the Tampa Bay Rays for 4 top prospects in their organization. They sent a first-round pick from this year, Slater DeBron, who's an outfielder, catcher Caden Bodine, right-hander Michael Forret, and outfielder Austin Overn, as well as a competitive balance pick in the draft coming up in 2026 to the Tampa Bay Rays. A trade they could not absolutely refuse. The Orioles need pitching. Shane Baz, definitely not the best pitcher out there, but will definitely help out their rotation. Yet another big trade on December 19th. The Pirates, Astros, and Rays all were in a 3-team trade, so the Rays continued to make moves. The Pittsburgh Pirates picked up Brandon Lowe from the Tampa Bay Rays. It's a 3-team deal. The Pirates also got left-hander Mason Montgomery and outfielder Jake Mangum. The Rays get outfielder Jacob Melton from the Houston Astros, and the Houston Astros get Anderson Brito, the Rays get Anderson Brito. The Astros get right-hander Mike Burrows from the Pittsburgh Pirates, a rotation piece that the Astros definitely need to help solidify some spots in their rotation. The Rays get an outfielding prospect that they can potentially bring up on opening day. And the Pirates get the most value, in my opinion, because Mason Montgomery, a good lefty reliever that they can help develop because their pitching development recently has been skyrocketing. Jake Mangum is a very good defensive and contact hitting outfielder. And then Brandon Lowe, a great power hitting second baseman. And he came out and said the Pirates are ready to contend this season. And they did make more moves today. They did sign Ryan O'Hearn to a 2-year, $29 million contract to potentially slot in over at first base or in DH. So the Pirates are making some moves, Miles.
Yeah.
And especially as Brewers fans, that's not good. And with the Pirates having already a pretty good rotation with Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, they also have Bubba Chandler coming up. They also have Hunter Barco, Anthony Solometo. I know all their prospects that they have on the pitching side of things, which is kind of absurd to me, how many they have. But the Pirates, they've got something cooking over there. And if they can address more of the pieces on offense, help develop their hitters, especially their catching system, which has a lot of talent with Henry Davis and Endy Rodriguez, that Pirates team is going to be dangerous.
Well, to me, when you have the best pitcher in the league, arguably, in Paul Skeens, you need to be making moves to surround him with the team to win. Because guess what? When teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees are knocking on your door saying, hey, we want Paul Skeens, and he says, guess what? I want to go there. I want to get that, $700 million contract somewhere else. Then you need to make sure he is happy with your team and you can get every ounce of talent out of him and try to make a run to the World Series.
And the Pirates have some fun pieces. I just mentioned all their catchers. They got Ryan O'Hearn now. They just got Brandon Lowe. They have Nick Gonzalez, who I really like as a hitter at shortstop. They got Jared Triolo, who I think is really solid. They have Brian Reynolds, who's an absolute demon on the hitting side of things. Not so much this year. They have the giant and O'Neal Cruz being 6'7", nice, and then he also has some incredible amounts of power out in center field. The Pirates have a lot of splashy pieces, but what can they do with them is the big question. The Padres signed South Korean infielder Sun Moon Song, who's an infielder I believe will play second base for the team, signed a 4-year, $15 million contract, which is an absolute steal for the San Diego Padres, who have spent big in the past off seasons. Now are getting Sun Moon Song, that's a name, on a pretty cheap contract overall. And then we had a big move here. The Chicago White Sox signed Munetaka Murakami to a 2-year, $45 million contract to play first base for the team. He was the home run leader the past couple of seasons in Japan, has incredible power potential. This is a big move. No one else saw this coming. And one of the big reasons Murakami had to sign this deal that may be underwhelming is because he had to sign by 6 p.m. yesterday on Monday. Otherwise, he would just have to go back and play in Japan. So this is a big move for the White Sox, and for Murakami, this gives him low expectations and a chance to prove himself when other teams were very concerned about his injury history and his lack of contact skills. So we'll see how Murakami does in Chicago with the White Sox. What do you think about this, Miles?
I think that's a big move. I was definitely surprised with it. I thought someone big, some sort of contender like the Padres, the Giants, the Yankees, somebody would bring him in, give him a huge contract, and we'll see what happens. That was not the case. We saw the White Sox say, hey, come to us. You could see a huge home run threat with Luis Robert Jr. and Murakami hitting tanks there in the White Sox country.
Definitely. And then the Red Sox, who lost out in the bidding war to their other Sox, the White Sox. See what I did there?
I do.
All right. So they ended up trading for Wilson Contreras of the St. Louis Cardinals, sending over a couple pitchers that the Cardinals can help use and build around in their rotation just to fill spots, because the Cardinals are in absolute misery right now, and they need all the roster players that they can have. Just anyone with a pulse, they're just bringing in. So the Red Sox and the Cardinals have made some trades this year. I mean, the Red Sox got Sonny Gray from the Cardinals this year. Now they're bringing on Wilson Contreras. So there you go. Got some big trades going on. Yep. And then we had a big trade actually go down yesterday between the Mets and Athletics. Jeff McNeil has been traded by the New York Mets to the Oakland Athletics. The Mets are also sending over some cash, and the Mets are getting a rookie ball pitcher. This is the end of the era for end of an era. I was
shocked.
I could have seen this coming, because with the trade for Marcus Semien earlier in the offseason, this probably signaled the end for Jeff McNeil in the New York Mets. And I honestly, I would have preferred Jeff McNeil over Marcus Semien, because Jeff McNeil plays solid enough defense that is on par with Marcus Semien at this point and hits for a better bat. Marcus Semien doesn't hit for a better bat and plays elite defense.
Yeah, that's why. And I thought McNeil, he's coming to the end of his career. I thought he was going to be a Met for the rest of his career. And so that's kind of more the
Mets signaling
signaling
change because they already lost Pete Alonso.
Right.
They just actually they lost Juan Soto last year. They did bring in Luke Weaver to help out with that bullpen.
So there's change going on there, and I thought Jeff McNeil to the Athletics is going to be interesting, right? You see what he can do.
Yeah.
Maybe he can carry the team to a couple of wins. But I all around, I'm sad for McNeil here.
Yeah, I really like Jeff McNeil. I think he's a really good player. He's a great utility guy, but maybe he'll find a home out in Oakland. And besides that, the Mets also lost out on Murakami signing with the White Sox, so they're going to be turning their attention to some other first baseman out on the market, possibly Kazuma Okamoto, who is also a first baseman, who is a little bit more of a reliable hitter. But now with Ryan O'Hearn signing with the Pirates, there's not very many first basemen left out there.
Yeah.
There aren't very many. I mean, the Mets might have to go out and trade for a guy, but yeah, things are not looking very good for the New York Mets right now. But there you go. That is your MLB offseason recap. Oh, the Brewers made a trade as well. They sent Isaac Collins and Nick Mears over to the Kansas City Royals for Angel Zerpa. Their plan sounds like the Brewers are looking to maybe turn Angel Zerpa back into a starter to give them a lefty in the rotation. In my opinion, I think the Brewers could have kept on to Isaac Collins and just did a 1-for-1 swap between Mears and Zerpa. I think Isaac Collins is definitely a better option than Akil Baddoo, who we probably spent more money on than we could have probably done with Isaac Collins, because Isaac Collins has more control. Akil Baddoo does not. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I didn't like that trade at all. I feel like
I
feel like you could have just kept Isaac Collins and not signed Akil Baddoo, but I don't know. I don't understand the move. But at this point, the Brewers, I've come to not question their front office that much because, yeah, the trades they make sometimes actually work out pretty good. So maybe Akil Baddoo will be the next Isaac Collins to come up and absolutely
Yeah, I would agree.
Now, one final thing, sticking with the MLB, the MLB just released their newest luxury tax payments that teams are going to have to be making this upcoming season for 2026, and these are subject to change because teams can still sign players. But what's up with this? The Dodgers are basically paying over $100 million in salary tax for next season. The threshold is $244 million in salary. The Dodgers are at $342 million, so they're about paying $100 million. I mean, that's a little absurd, guys. It's a little absurd, guys. And then you go all the way down to the bottom. You have the Miami Marlins, who are at $68 million total for salary. So they're what? That's $180 million away from the luxury tax? Like, what are we doing here? I mean, the White Sox were about to join them, but after they signed Murakami, they jump up to number 27 with $100 million. So now they're only $144 million off. So that, I guess the Marlins are at like a $1,700 or $177 million. So that raises some eyebrows.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why it's hard for me to talk about MLB off seasons and stuff, because number one, it's so complicated, right? There's so many complex things going on here, right? When you look at the Marlins, you question, what are they doing? $68 million? Are you kidding me? You can't try to at least contend in some way and bring in somebody? And then the other thing is the Dodgers, right? It's overpowered. That's why, to me, that's why NFL is kind of a bit more my speed, when it's a level playing field, right? And all that, where this is more, hey, guess what? Angels, yeah, you raised Shohei Ohtani to be what he is. Guess what? Now he's ours. Now we're going to go off and win World Series with him, right? That's why this is so hard to watch baseball sometimes.
All right, I definitely agree with that. So, and my thoughts on this now are, they're still pretty similar to what I was thinking, but after seeing this, we got to rein it back a little bit. I mean, because we're going to have, let me count them, 7 teams above the luxury tax. The Braves, the Padres, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Phillies, the Mets, and the Dodgers. The Dodgers are the one that's most absurd, and we've talked about why. But, I mean, the Braves are at $250 million, so they're $6 million above, so they're going to be paying about, I think, $6 million in luxury tax. The Padres are going to be paying about $11 million on luxury tax. The Yankees are going to be paying a little bit more than that, since they're at $280 million, so that's about $40. Same with the Blue Jays. And then the Phillies and Mets are the next two. They're up at $300 million both. So, like, like I can deal with those teams because I mean we've seen the Mets and the Phillies kind of struggle, especially the Mets being a team that spends a lot but have struggled. But the Dodgers, we got it.
Come on, that's the thing. The Dodgers are buying the World Series, right? You look at the top 5 teams; those are all contenders every year to win the World Series. And you look at the bottom, right? The Marlins, the Guardians, the Rays, the White Sox, the Athletics. None of those guys will ever be a top team.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised to see that the Rockies are above all of them. And I mean, that probably has to do with Chris Bryant having an absolutely massive contract. But you get what I mean. Like, the Marlins have a lesser payroll than the Rockies, which honestly is actually kind of saying something because you can't. Anything on paper means nothing in the MLB, I guess. But yeah, the Marlins being down there so much.
Yeah.
We got to have something like a salary floor, something like the NBA has with their salary cap, kind of having a soft cap. We need something like that for the MLB because the Marlins being $30 million less than the next closest team with the Guardians is absolutely absurd. That's the thing that really drives me crazy. And the Dodgers thing, too, does drive me crazy as well. So the MLB's got to do this. And the only reason why I'm in less support of having a salary cap now is because we probably would actually lose baseball for a year because there would be a lockout. When we get a new agreement, then Rob Manfred can go back and say, okay, we got this new agreement done. Let's start talking about the salary cap so we can implement it, and we're ready to implement it for the next competitive balance agreement. I'm really hoping it doesn't come to another lockout because 2021 sucked. Yeah. It really did. I was a depressed MLB fan for that point in time when I was 11. So, yeah, I'm looking at that. Maybe now is not the time for a salary cap in the MLB, but after the next competitive balance agreement gets agreed to, maybe we can get something like that. But this is now not the time, but this definitely needs to be addressed.
Yeah, 100%. I would agree.
So we're hoping, me and Miles both are hoping that we can get a salary cap, hopefully very, very soon for the MLB. But I think that is going to about do it. Do you have anything else to say about this, Miles, or do you?
I do not.
Okay, so very similar to mine, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us, everybody. A little bit of a long one here, but we had a lot to talk about. Once again, thank you to Scottie, Tohottie, and Mr. Earl Gillespie for hopping on the show with us once again, talking about the Green Bay Packers and football. Go support them in some way, shape, or form on social media. Maybe we can find their links down in the description. We'll see. But that will do it for us. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Go check out my show, Talkin NASCAR with Andrew Volkman. I do a lot of good work over there. Where I just celebrated the life and the passing of Greg Biffle. It was a very tragic moment. So if you want to go listen to that, go check it out. But that'll do it for us. Hope you enjoyed. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Miles.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.
See you guys.